All right, folks, it's now time for Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address on the show, you can email us anytime at collidervideo@gmail.com. Every day we take a couple of your questions. So, Sinead, what do we got today?
Peter writes, "Hey guys, it's so great to see how far your show has come over the years. On behalf of all your Australian fans, I'd like to give a big thank you. My question is in regards to The Force Awakens and the heavy focus on marketing practical effects. Whilst it all looks great and is certainly what all the fans want, I am a tiny bit worried that it could be an attempt to avoid showing us aspects that they may not be so confident in, such as the story and character development. I want nothing more than this to be false, but I would just like to know your opinion on the prospect."
Well, the important thing to keep in mind here is we are still 5 months away.
I don't say it like that.
I know it feels so long. We are still 5 entire months away from the actual movie coming out. So what should they be showing us this far in advance? Well, this far in advance, you give us glimpses. You just give us little glimpses. Show us all they really, let's admit it, all they really had to do was put out a 4-second teaser of Han and Chewie standing in the Millennium Falcon going, "Chewie, we're home." And that would have done the job too. But all they have to do at this point is give us glimpses. I have no doubt that when we come around to D23, or whether it's New York Comic Con or something else, look for our discussion on that on Jedi Council. When it comes time for the next trailer, and hopefully maybe the final trailer, I think you're going to get a little bit more of the story. But like I said, at this point, 5 months away. Don't worry about what they're showing us or not showing us in the trailers. I don't know. Christian is one of the big Star Wars guys that I know. How do you feel about it?
I agree with you, and I think that, look, this is strategic. Everything that they've done so far has been strategic, and you bring up Jedi Council yesterday. One of the points that I'm sticking to is marketing and the way that they are marketing. Wait for September. They have made it very clear. Star Wars and Disney and Lucas has made it clear that September is going to be what they're calling the journey to the Force Awakens. This is when all the stuff inside of the comics and the books and everything leading up from Jedi onto this point start to come out. Through that, you're going to learn more tidbits. You're going to hear blog posts about it, and then you'll start to get a trailer that tells you a little bit more about story and characters. It is strategic, so do not be nervous about it whatsoever.
I'll just add, I think their emphasis on practical effects is they're just trying to say, look, we care about the original trilogy. And the original trilogy was shot with real sets. So we built real sets. We care about models and practical effects and aliens with prosthetics. So we did that. We're trying to emulate the look and feel of what was so importantly organic and captured in the original trilogy. That doesn't have anything to do with the story. They're not giving away the story, because that's one of the most important and fun things when you see this film is the brand new what's going on 30 years later in the Star Wars world. So I don't want to know anything about the story. I'm just happy to see the amazing special effects and how they're doing.
And that's also the first wave of the marketing, is that let everyone know, because one of the main things, and as the viewer had pointed out in his email, was that a lot of people were kind of thrown off from how heavy the prequels were on the overuse of the green screens and everything too. And this was them letting them know, even with this presentation that they did, these were Star Wars fans that responded to the models and the practical effects and the locations, and that's what they're doing. So more and more, as we piece together things that we will see, are those things first. But then as we get closer to the movie, you'll learn more about story and characters.
You know, the other thing to keep in mind too here is that let's not be misled into thinking, oh, all they're going to do is they're going to do all practical effects. It's going to be all real costumes. No, it's not. I mean, all you have to do is look at what is Supreme Leader Snoke?
Yeah, I mean, look at the Falcon going up in the air.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot. There are going to be green screens. There are going to be digital effects. There's going to be a lot of digital aliens. There's going to be a lot of that stuff. But I think what you were pointing out is so accurate. This is JJ telling the fans, because a lot of the fans felt like there was almost an abandonment of the spirit of Star Wars when they went into the prequels. This is JJ saying, we are embracing the spirit of Star Wars. We want to get back to what made it feel like Star Wars. And that's not to say we're forsaking all the modern technology. Oh no, you're going to see a lot of glorious modern technology, but it's going to be pretty special. Don't worry that we haven't seen the story yet. It's going to come. All right, what's next?
Jonathan writes, "Hi, Collider team. Happy to see most of the gang back in action. Don't know if you've heard, but around September, Brad Bird's The Iron Giant will get a digital remaster and 2 additional scenes, all directed by Bird himself in a few theaters, and then a new Blu-ray with it. What do you think of movies that weren't a hit getting a second chance in theaters, even if it's for limited release, and especially for such good and underrated films? Thanks, and keep bringing the filthy."
Yeah, I think they're calling it The Iron Giant, the Signature Edition, I think is what they're calling it. And look, The Iron Giant is one of those just special movies. If you haven't seen The Iron Giant, make sure you do. It is truly, truly a special little film. Here's the thing. It's not really getting a second chance in theater. It's coming out in theaters for 2 days, I believe, and it's not even back-to-back days. It's going to come out on September 30th for one screening, and then it's going to come out again for one more screening on like a Sunday at noon in select theaters on October 4th. The reason they're putting it back in theaters, though, is really just to help with the marketing push of the Blu-ray and the DVD release with these new re-engineered scenes, a couple of extra scenes that Brad Bird shot specifically for this new edition, all that kind of stuff. So it's not really getting a return to theater, although you can bet your ass. September 30th, I'm going to be in the theater in Los Angeles watching The Iron Giant on the big screen again. And I don't know how many people will be there with me, but I'll be one of them. But it's really just to help with the marketing push. Anyway, Schnepp, how do you see it?
I will be there 100% in that theater with you. I love this film, and I think it was one of those films that it just got skipped over, it passed over. And so with this marketing push, more people will become aware of it and see it. Either, a few people see it in the theater, but most people will be able to see it again in a new way on Blu-ray and DVD. So I think it's great.
Yeah, I think it's great too, and I think that you're right. I think it's for those hardcore fans that are going to go see it in the theater. But what I also, because it is such an underrated movie, it's a fantastic movie, and it landed in a time where this type of animation was kind of on its way out, to where the Toy Stories of the world and were the dominant ways that people were watching movies in theaters, animation movies in theaters. So it's nice to see this come out to get the push, because I hope it does really well on Blu-ray. It deserves to, and it's a movie that if you haven't seen, and I'm not even kidding, it's not a joke, it's one of Vin Diesel's best performances that he's ever done. It really is, because and that's not taking nothing away. That's a pure compliment. It's an amazing movie, and it should be watched.